Welcome to today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford. Expert advice on improving your home from the pages of today's Homeowner magazine and remodeling contractor Danny Lipford.
Hey, I'm glad you joined us this week. You know, one of the hardest decisions most homeowners have when they're doing a remodeling project is what windows to use. There's so much out there to choose from. Now, the house you see here, we're building an addition on the rear of it, so we'll be using the same windows as in the existing house. But there's so many others out there to choose from. Vinyl windows, wood-clad windows, all of that. We'll look at it in this week's show and tell you some of the important aspects of selecting windows for your next remodeling project. So don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. You know, the project we're doing on this house involves adding some additional living space to the rear of the house. And normally when you're adding an addition to a home, with window consideration, you're using the same windows that are generally in the house. In this case, it's a double pane aluminum frame window. Now, the aluminum frame window is very popular in many parts of the country. One reason, it's very inexpensive. This unit, that's a 3.0 by 6.0, is about $125. Now, when you hear the terminology 3.0, 6.0, what that actually means, the first number in that description is the width of the window. So it's 3 foot, no inches, by 6 foot, no inches, hence the 3.0, 6.0. Sometimes that'll throw you a little bit when you hear things like that in selecting windows. Now, one of the other popular aspects of a window like this is the maintenance-free exterior. You really have a baked-on enamel here that you never really have to worry about. Also, it is an insulated window and double pane, so you have the energy efficiency that's very important in selecting windows. Now, one of the things about any window, you're going to have the maintenance of keeping the window clean. Here, the buttons are actually inside the two panes of glass, so when you are cleaning it, you're not having to work around all the multi-light configuration that you have with many windows. Now, that's another terminology that you need to be aware of, is how to reference a window like this. Actually, it's called a 9/6 configuration in this window. Other windows may be 6/6, 3/3. Those are some of the other terms that you need to know when you're selecting windows. Another thing that makes these windows very popular is the versatility. Now, aluminum frame windows are very easy to work with, so you can create almost any kind of configuration and window style that you really want. Here, the homeowners wanted to group a couple of the windows together, or mull them together as we call it. What we did is we used two of the same size windows that we looked at earlier, and by breaking the nailing flanges off, these go right together or self-mulled. Now, other windows, when you're putting them together like this, require a mull strip that goes over the windows to make them watertight and provide a little structural strength in the two units together. Now, in order to create these, what they did in the shop is they took the nailing flange, broke it off, and then attached the two windows. Now, they'll generally do a double window like this in the shop, but if you're doing more windows, which you could really put 10 windows together if you wanted to, those are usually done out on the job because it's so hard to handle multiple windows like that. Now, the nailing flange that I mentioned is very common on most windows that are being installed in new constructed walls like this. It's about 1 inch or 1.25 inches around the perimeter of the window. Usually will have pre-drilled holes, and you can use nails or screws to secure it to the wall. Now, the aluminum windows here, of course, are the white finish. They're also available in a mill finish or a aluminum color, kind of a silver color, also available in a bronze, which is a dark brown. That decision is usually based on the color scheme of your house. Another decision is the style of window in terms of the pane configuration. Here, the 9/6 windows are perfect for this type of home, kind of a traditional or colonial style home. But if you have a more modern home or contemporary home, you may want to go with no panes at all. Rather, a 1/1 styling just looks better with that modern or contemporary style architecture. Now, another consideration that you have to have when you're selecting windows is, of course, like this, that they match the existing house. But if you're putting all new windows in your house and replacing windows in your existing house, then you can pick just about any kind of window that you would like for your house. But replacement windows, particularly on a brick home, can be a challenge. Now normally when aluminum frame windows are used on a brick home, the bricks will extend right up to the edge of the window frame. But occasionally you run into a situation like this where they've used brick mold around the perimeter of the window. Now the drawback to this method is that it's one more area you have to paint and maintain. The advantage when replacing windows is that you're able to remove that brick mold to get to the nailing flange, remove those nails, and you're able to take the old window out, put the new windows in, and replace the brick mold. But if your bricks do extend right up to the edge of your window, covering that nailing flange, the replacement of the windows can be a little more of a challenge and a different process. And when we come back after the simple solution segment, we'll look at that process.
Get ready to review your fix-it list as Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine repair and maintenance editor Joe Truini show you this week's simple solution. Brought to you by Dodge.
When painting walls with a roller, your first step is to use a brush to cut in around the perimeter of the room.
That's necessary because the end of the roller sleeve can't paint right up against adjacent surfaces. As a result, you can often see brush strokes around the perimeter of the room after the paint dries. To solve that problem, simply slide the roller sleeve off the roller cage about an inch or so it extends past the protruding knob. That allows you to roll very close to corners and ceilings and paint right over the cut-in brush strokes. Here's another neat tip. Slip your hand inside a plastic bag before grasping the wet roller sleeve and pulling it off the roller cage.
Now when you're painting and you're ready for a break, you really don't have to wash out your roller sleeve. Go to the kitchen, get some aluminum foil, and wrap it around the roller sleeve. Crimp it on the ends to keep the air out.
And if you're not going to be able to get back to painting for up to 12 hours or so, simply slide the sleeve off the roller frame and pop it into the refrigerator. There it'll stay fresh for up to 4 days.
There are many homes across the country just like this home. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath brick house with originally had single pane aluminum windows. Now the single pane windows are not energy efficient at all, and the homeowners were having quite a bit of problem with condensation on the inside of the windows that really were creating some mildew problems. Also with the busy road out in front of the house, all the traffic there also was a factor in motivating the homeowners to replace the windows with vinyl replacement units. Now the company that handled that for them specializes in vinyl replacement windows, and the owner of that company is Tom Folkers.
Oh yeah, that looks good, Sean.
Well, Tom, things are looking great.
They are. They're looking real good. The guys are doing a great job.
Now, Tom, you've been in the window business for a number of years. How many windows have you installed?
Believe it or not, in the 27 years we've been doing this, tens of thousands of windows.
I don't doubt it. I know that you've been out there for quite a while. Now, tell us, why are the vinyl replacement windows so popular for homeowners now?
Well, it makes such a big improvement over the old windows, and it's an opportunity for the homeowner to decide for themselves which windows they're going to have in their home. You know, when homes were built 10, 20, 30 years ago, the builder made the decision, or they made a decision working off a different budget than perhaps they have now.
Right. Well, I see that they're in the process of installing one of the last ones to be installed in the house. Now, take us through that process. What's involved in that? Now, we looked earlier at some windows that had brick mold around them that attached up to the brick. So it was very easy to take the brick molding out to access the window fins and the flanges, but here's a different story.
Oh, it is, and we're not so lucky to have that brick mold this time. The first step with any custom replacement window project is accurate measuring. So we're going to measure that window inside and out in 3-4 different places to make sure we get the right measurement. When the windows are delivered to the project, the crew is going to measure again. Before they start removing the window, they're going to measure the new window to make sure that it was made accurately. And then and only then they're going to start the removal process. Here, without the brick mold to work with, we have to carefully remove that part of the aluminum framework that is underneath the brick. And many times that means first removing the sash and then dismantling the aluminum frame. Sometimes using heat guns to get the putty loose so that we can take the glass out. Once the entire aluminum frame is removed, we prepare the opening, clean it, remove any loose mortar from around the brick, remove loose paint or caulk chips on the inside, have a nice clean prepared opening. We then set the new window in place, square it, level it, and shim it. Very important to any window or door installation, as you know.
Right.
And then make sure we anchor it securely. Anchoring it We're using 3-inch stainless steel screws to go all the way down through the vinyl window frame into the framework of the home to get a good solid anchoring.
Okay, all right.
The next step is finishing it up to present a nice, neat, finished look to the entire project. And that usually involves the proper sealants, color match to the window, cleaning the glass, setting the screen into the frame, picking up the drop cloths inside and out, running a vacuum cleaner, and putting our customers' furniture back in place.
Well, Tom, the windows look great. They've done a real good job here.
Thank you, Danny. Sean and Phil always do a great job. They really do.
I notice they do just one opening at a time. Why is that?
Well, because of the weather. We don't want to get caught with a house completely opened up and a rainstorm come along. This time of year, it helps to keep our homeowners warm and cozy doing one window at a time.
Okay, now what about cost on a unit like this?
Well, as you know, you can go to the lumber yard and pick up a window off the shelf, standard size for, $100, $150. And you may get involved with carpenters and sheetrock people and brick masons to make that window fit. What we do is we build the window to fit the opening, eliminate the brick masons, the carpenters, the sheetrockers, and we can have a custom-made window installed in the $350 to $500 range. But there are windows to fit any budget, and some people will spend several $100s to get exactly what they want with all the bells and whistles. Okay.
Well, Tom, thanks a lot. This is some great information on vinyl replacement windows. And stay with us. After this Best New Product segment, we'll show you more about the windows that are available on the market today.
It's time to check out this week's Best New Product with Danny and today's Homeowner Magazine Editor-in-Chief, Paul Spring. Brought to you by the Home Depot.
Now, when I hear things like cruise control, automatic transmission, even a cup holder, I really don't think of a lawnmower.
Well, maybe you should, Danny. This auto drive by Yardman is a good example of what these garden tractors have become. Lots of accessories, and in this case, a terrific price, about $1,400. But one of the things we were particularly impressed with is a garden tractor allows you to put some accessories on it. You can put on a snow thrower or a little blade, a little dozer blade, or even a tiller. Usually that takes a lot of tools. In this case, it's literally a matter of snapping on a part, taking the other part off. It's very simple.
I notice also that the steering just seems to be exceptional in being able to maneuver around the yard real well.
It does. That's a dual link steering, and it gives you very tight turns, which is a real advantage.
What are some of the other features you have here?
Well, you've got an automatic transmission down here, which is infinitely variable and controlled by a foot pedal. You're able to control the cutting height of the deck right there. This is a 42-inch deck, about twice of what a normal walk-behind mower would be, so you can do a lot of damage in the yard here.
That's a pretty good sized machine. What about the engine on it? Is it strong enough?
It is. It's well matched to its size. This is a Briggs & Stratton engine, 17 horsepower, overhead valve. Does a nice job.
Well, as you can see from this week's show, there's a lot of things to consider when you're selecting windows. First of all, select the type of window that's right for your home architecturally. Secondly, you got to keep the budget in mind, so buy the best window you can with the money that you have to spend on windows. But also remember that windows should be considered a permanent part of your home structure, so buy the best window that you can.